identify how many of those leads are going to come in for you every day. So the marketing magic bullet system, which I'm going to lay out for you today, is a 3-part system that shows you how to use referral marketing as one source of the way you're going to get clients and prospects into your business, but also how to use any other media anybody comes to you with, whether it's Yellow Book advertising, whether it's social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, blogging, podcasting, whether it's, what else is out there you've been told you have to do? We've been told you have to tweet, right, to get clients, and you've been told you have to do search engine optimization and search engine management. How do you know that all of this ends up working and you're not just wasting time and money on, how many feel like they've wasted some time and some money and a lot of just pouring it down the drain? Mark, what have you've tried SEO, you've tried?
Tried SEO, tried marketing consultants, tried article marketing. And some of it works.
Some of it works. But there's not a consistent plan there to like keep it all happening on a regular basis. And so that's what I'm going to walk you through today. So as far as the agenda goes, we're here until 11 together. I'm going to break this class into 3 different segments. We'll take a break after the second one so you guys can get up and stretch your legs and get some coffee. If you do need to take care of yourself in the meantime, feel free to step out. It won't bother us. And then after each segment, I'll ask if you guys have any questions. So if you'll hold the questions until after each segment, that'll help me get through the content. If I see you really perplexed, I'll jump in and ask what's going on. But we'll try to keep the content flowing that way. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So I promised you today that I was going to teach you 3 different things. So I was going to teach you how to build your own profit pyramid. Mark, I think it's been a whole year since we saw each other last. And I introduced this concept to him last year. And have you looked back over the year? Have you used any of your pyramid marketing, or am I dusting it off for you?
I'm dusting it off.
But I'm going to teach you how to. There's a logical funnel. It's a business model for how you can not only just when you attract clients to you, but help foster the relationship with them, because not everyone is willing and ready to buy when they see your ad or they see you tweet on Twitter or on Facebook. So you need to be fostering this relationship with them so that when they're ready to buy, they come to you for that. And with this profit pyramid, it also helps you attract the right clients to you, and those clients are usually willing to pay you more because you're specialized in what it is that they really need, instead of being a one-size-fits-all kind of jack of all trades for people. So, who would like more customers that pay them more money? That's nice, right? We all would like that. We would like to work less and make more, right? And then I'm going to teach you how to create your ROI blueprint. This is return on investment. How do you know that if you pour $500 into a Yellow Page ad that you're going to get 12 clients out of it, or 1 client who pays you $2,500? How do you know that? How do you map that out for yourself? A lot of the times, any advertising agent who comes to you and says, place this Facebook ad, or you need a fan page, or you need this, or you need that, they're being compensated on you purchasing their service. And they don't have a real estimate for you on how you can make yourself money by getting more clients or increasing the amount your clients pay you. And then third, how would you like to automate all of this? Automation's great, right? Because you guys all of you have started your business because you love what it is that you do, but the money comes in being able to let other people do that for you. Anybody read the book E-Myth by Michael Gerber? Are you familiar with that? That was a writer downer for you. E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It talks about that most entrepreneurs go out there and start a business doing their craft, but what they do is they buy themselves an expensive job. And they're tied down into not only working in their business, they never take time to work on the business, so that you're creating other people who can do the work for you and you're overseeing them. And then you free yourself up to ultimately create what you want, which is all of us are hopefully in business as entrepreneurs so that we can have more fun, spend time with our families, and provide jobs and resources for other people. And if we do all the work ourselves, we're not helping anybody out there. Except the medical system, right? So we're going to start with the profit pyramid. You guys need a, oops, we'll wait till our new guests come in. Hold on one second. Come on in, ladies. Hello. Good morning. Grab a seat. I have two up front. No back row Baptists. I'm the only recovering Baptist in the room, please. Do I have any other Baptists in the room? It's okay. I'll let you guys introduce yourself. We're about to start the first segment, so I'll let you guys introduce yourself. Gina, you want to start?
Hi, I'm Gina Bender.
And your brand and how long you've...
With Divine Insights, and it's in the process of coming together, and I'm creating a new business based on something that I love to do, and I decided to make...
money doing it.
Yes, money doing it.
You remember Mark from last year? He's dusting off his profit pyramid from last year as well. And?
Good morning. I'm Tanya Linka. I'm a chiropractic physician, and I'm currently working on a project with some golf injury work and bringing that to fruition.
You guys are both in Delray Beach. You guys will want to all mingle. Everyone's in this Boca Delray area, and we got Jupiter as well. So everybody's up in this northern county here. Okay, just so you guys know, we are filming today, just so that we can continue to use this for future training episodes. All right, so I want everybody to draw a big pyramid on their paper. 3 sides, big triangle. I feel like we're in the mountains. Everybody hear the howling wind? We're gonna go skiing afterwards. Okay, on the right hand or the left hand side of your pyramid, I want you to write market. And on the right, we're gonna write message. And then on the bottom, we're gonna write media. Okay, now, these are the 3 components that any of your marketing or advertising needs in order to come to that perfect point of being profitable for you. And it's this right mix and this right balance of a market, a message, and the media that you use that's going to create the ideal clients who are going to work with you, who pay you lots of money and allow you to automate the system over and over and over again, so that all you're doing is fine-tuning how many people come into your get introduced into your business, and then how much money you're counting and collecting at the end. So I want to start today by talking about this market. How many of you know who your ideal clients are? I asked you to name them. So Mark, tell me who an ideal client is for you.
An ideal client is a parent who has a child between the ages of 7 and 16. The kid is a right brain learner. They're really smart. They learn best when they see and experience information. Kids having problems with reading comprehension. An attention issue may be there. A tracking issue may be there. And the parents have the commitment and resources to help their child go from stress to outrageous success. They really want to see a huge difference.
Okay, very good. Good, narrow, and you've been in business quite a while, so you're fine-tuning who this is. And your market for the golf, we'll focus on the golf thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the golf thing, I actually have 3 different target markets. One is golf pros, since we do referrals back and forth. The other is the golfer itself, and the other are clubs that I do presentations for.
Great, great. So you'll have kind of 3 pyramids for each one, and then mapping out whatever that is. And your market? You've got more of a geographic kind of market probably, right?
More people that are just want to improve their homes, and we found that it actually, we thought we would target middle income or higher income, but sometimes they don't want to spend, or they think that's too much money, when other people that hardly have anything are happy to pay a reasonable amount to get what they want.
So So maybe a little better definition of the target market for you might be helpful here. This may be the piece of the pyramid and so if you're off on, and we'll go over each of the three, but if you're off on any of these, if you're not getting the results that you want, it's probably because one of these sides is not in alignment with. So, you know, if we cut this leg off here, you know, this side of the pyramid gets a little wonky and everything kind of tilts over. So target market, you've got a geographic target market first off that you're wanting to look at for your thing. So some questions to ask for target market clarification is this market easy to reach? And easy means, can you go and network with them belly to belly? Can you go find a group on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn and be in front of them? And know that social media is no different than networking in the real world. You guys come to this event and you're going to talk to one another. The semantics of the fact that you guys all reached out your hand and said, hi, I'm Mark, and is different than what you do on Facebook. But on Facebook, you're going to reach out the same sort of way. And then how do you build that relationship with somebody? Are there lists to rent? This is the second question of your target market. Are there lists that you can rent that you can get in front of your target audience? Now, direct mail, the use of direct mail, the use of direct email marketing is every business's primary source of what I call lead generation and getting prospects into your business. It's the number one way because you can absolutely track, test, and tweak whether or not something works. Now, a lot of times people are very fearful of it because they look at the fact that they're going to buy a list for $500 and they're going to spend $300 on printing and postage, and then they're just fearful that they've spent $1,000 and what if nothing happens? So in the second part of the workshop, I'm going to teach you how to map out how to make that back out for you to look at a long-term customer value so that it does work. But if you can spend more money acquiring a customer than your competitors can, don't you think that you're going to have a lot better customers than your competitors will, and the stability of your business is going to be a lot better off because of how you are attracting those clients to you. So direct mail is a great way to build everybody's business. Are there trade journals for your industries, for your target markets? Not necessarily for you, but you may do something like a Clipper magazine or what are the little coupon Val packs kinds of things, because you know that specifically the homes in this subdivision or in this zip code are going to be the homes that you might want to target. So those might be options for you. And then your question, do these people have money? It may not absolutely be a question of whether they have money or not. Do they have the value? Do they want what you have to offer enough that they're willing to find the money or pay for it, that it's important to them? And then I like to mix a lot of little hardcore marketing stuff with some softer sort of stuff. So putting out a clear intention for who you want to work with. This is Gina's specialty over here, like using intentions and signs and law of attraction and stuff. Well, it really does work in a marketing perspective, and we can back some of that up with, I really want clients who love and adore working with me and who go above and beyond. Like with Teresa, I asked her to build her website, and anybody needs help building a website, you're going to go talk to her, because she had the whole thing mapped out on paper with all these drawings of how each page should be laid out. Brilliant way to go about doing it, instead of just like, oh, I just want a website that's blue and green and purple. Well, that's kind of hard to make happen as a designer or whatever, but she's got it all mapped out. So you want to talk about not only from can you find these people on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, in lists, but also not just that. Use some of these kind of woo-woo characteristics or law of attraction stuff of who do I really actually want to work with? Do I really enjoy helping single mothers out, or do I really enjoy helping dual income, 3 kids kind of families and households? That's going to depend on how you want to work things. So getting clear on this target market message is really critical. It's the first stage that anybody who I work with, I ask for them to get clear on, because it's going to affect the message and the media that you choose. Now, what often happens is people come to me with this one first, and they say, I want a tweet, I want a Facebook, I want a podcast, I want a blog. And I say, yeah, but who are you trying to reach? And because they don't know, or because they think that they should be on Facebook just because everybody else is on Facebook, doesn't necessarily mean that that's where their people are, or that's where their people are having conversations about what's going on. Does that make sense? Okay, so any questions on target markets? Now, one thing I suggest for you to do about your target market is I actually have up, and I can send you guys an example later on, I have a little client avatar that I keep on my desk or in on my bulletin board, and it has a little picture of, I have two. I have a guy named Ben and a woman, and it says that this person, it has their job title, it has how much income they make, it has where they network, where they hang out, what magazines they read, and it's like literally creating this sort of avatar or this character. And so then, whatever marketing messages or tweets I'm writing or articles I'm writing, I basically look at this, one of mine is a Ben, and I have another one called Sally. And you know, Ben is a solo entrepreneur and his business is probably $250K or above, and Sally's more starting out in her business. And so whenever I write my marketing, I write it to Ben. And so I imagine that I'm sitting there talking directly to Ben, and I'm thinking about what it is that he's dealing with or is going on in his life. So in the families that you're working with, are they single mothers, or are they have mothers and fathers and they're both working, so they have absolutely no time to come, to deal with the air conditioner? They haven't even thought of the air conditioner when they bought the house, or the electric and the wiring or something. So talking to them and appealing to the fact that they've got all this stuff going on in their lives, but you're going to make sure that everything's taken care of for them and they're not even going to have to think about it, might be very valuable to them and might be more important to them than saving money on their electricity or their FPL bill or something. Okay? So this is a work in progress. I know Eileen's been crafting and honing ones for herself, and Gina's getting to that. The other thing I'll kind of caution you here is, with this market, oftentimes either when you're starting in business or even if you've been in business for a while, you have a conversation going on of who you already know, and you think that those people won't pay you money. But oftentimes, that's a lot of the conversation that you have for yourself. And if you take yourself out of that, you can find other people who value it if you change the conversation or the marketing message for them just a little bit. So I'm going to challenge you, if you guys start to say that my people don't have the money. Richard had some gold there earlier, is I thought these people didn't have money and then they do pay for something, and the people I thought had money don't want to pay. So don't let that be the hang up for you. Let's see whether or not you can really dig into the pain or the problem that somebody has, and solving that will get you to be able to serve them in a better way. Does that make sense? Questions on target market before I move on to messaging? I would also recommend you not have more than 3. With the golfing things, you had 3 separate ones because you're talking to 3 separate audiences, but the actual golf person, there may be a sub target market within there, because there's women golfers and there's men golfers, there's professional golfers, and then there's diehards on the weekend, but they're not playing all the time. So you're gonna have to break that down just a little bit more. Right. Okay, now with the message, why should someone do business with you amongst all competitors and anyone else that they have the ability to work with? Does anybody have an answer for why somebody should why should they hire you?
Well, because they need the services that I'm providing specifically, especially if it's geared for instance, the aging in place. If they have that specific need, they would come to someone like me.
But how are you going to make sure that they don't price shop on you?
Oh, price shop on me?
Well, if you do this service and you're just like everyone else, then you can compare apples to apples and say, well, she charges, you know, $3,000 for this job and she charges $7,000 for this job.
I have to.
What makes you more unique than everyone else?
Well, I would have to create whatever that is, but I feel that I give exceptional attention to all my clients, and I think I would probably put that out there. And I also am frugal, you know, in my choice of product. I don't immediately go to the highest, you know, cost price for them. So I probably would stress those areas.
Okay.
For people like that.
And you have 15 years of experience designing places for people, and you are familiar with that population. So if somebody my age is coming and trying to redesign a house for somebody who wants to live independently, what do I know? Not a baby boomer.
Baby boomers start pretty young. What, 40, I think 46 or 48 is, you know.
Right. So anyone else, Mark, what makes you different? So why can't they go to Sylvan, or why can't they go to, you know, any of your competitors? Why should they come work with you?
For the right client, we offer a fundamentally different service. We teach the way the kid learns. We address their attention issues. We identify tracking issues to the extent they exist. We help the parents be the coach and advocate their child's needs. We work with the school to help them get the help they need, and we get more significant results and they're longer lasting, because we have clients who've been with us 8-10 years ago, still report back on the kind of results that happen working with us.
Good. You're closer on this. This is that elevator speech that you say when you meet somebody. Hi, and I help. Usually it needs to be I help whoever that target market is, overcome whatever problem or challenge or solution the problem that they have. And that's your basic elevator speech that you use when you meet people. Okay, and you're going to want to target this message depending on who you're talking to. If it's somebody who's going to book you to do a workshop at the club, then your message is different than if somebody's actually just going to hire you to come work with them one-on-one. So with this message here, this is it's called a unique selling proposition. It's called the X factor. It's your sweet spot. It is really, and this takes some time. Gina's been working on this for about a year. And honestly, you know, at first you're like, I can do this, and I'm going to choose this one. And you kind of sit with it and you think, no, that's not exactly what our sweet spot is. And it's kind of an evolution over the time, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out there and start making money. That doesn't mean that you can't go out there and start working with people to find and test to see whether or not that is really your sweet spot. That's the thing that makes you unique above and beyond anybody else. Like for me, I provide strategic marketing advice for people, and then I help break it down into what's tactical. So I can help you decide which things you need to be doing, and then specifically actually make them happen for you, which there's not a lot of people who have enough knowledge about all the different modalities to be able to bring all that together for people. So that's why I tend to feel that I'm different than others. And you had a question, Mark?
Yeah. Especially with people online. One of the questions we've been dealing with lately is, do they want to hear that message from a 3D learner professional, or do they want to hear it from other parents? Testimonials, which the learner professional, or do they want to hear it from other parents? Testimonials,
which would you rather hear?
I like to hear both, actually, because one's obviously the person selling themselves, and the other person is.
The challenge that solo entrepreneurs have, or small business entrepreneurs have, is sometimes we don't see the nose at the end of our face, right? We are so ingrained in what it is that we do that we don't see the value that somebody else sees in us. And so therefore sometimes that message is just a little off because you're saying what you think it is, but other people who've worked with you say, no, that's really what you do for us. So I think having it come from both angles allows the person who needs to hear it to hear what it is that they need to hear, if that makes sense. And it also is, you know, you've brought a friend, you know, you've seen me, you've met me, and then it's like, well, but Gina knows her, and you know, and then you also know that you know Stephen in Delray, right? It's like, oh, well, if, you know, if so-and-so knows her and so-and-so knows her, then she must know what she's doing, right? And so that's part of that social proof that social media plays a good part of, but that you really have to find out for yourself and your company what it is that makes you guys different to start with, so that you can start marketing that message out to the world. Now, if this message does not hit the biggest pain that your market has, and if your market is, if you have multiple, then there's a different pain for a Ben, for me, than there's pain for a Sally. For Ben, he's been working 20, 30 years and is ready to retire, but doesn't have enough money stocked away to do that, is working in his business too much and not having free time. And so his concern is a lot different than somebody who's a Sally, who's usually in their 30s, and they're looking to either come back into the workforce, for me, or they're looking to start a business that helps provide some income into their family. Totally different conversations, totally different problems that each of these are having. So, what's the biggest problem you solve in people's lives?
Just electrical problems, that, power being out and the stove not working.
Do you have a specialty within the electric stuff of what it is that do you focus on old homes? Do you focus on,
Does residential service work in any home? But we target just strictly repairing, replacing, installing new things, but only in existing homes. We will do remodels and additions, mainly now because the market is tough, but we just target anybody that needs or wants to look at changing or adding or fixing some things in their homes.
any of you done any electrical remodeling or any electrical work in your house? What was important to you about, and you were the one who made the decision, right? Something happened, blew up in the house, and...
Well, what's important is safety for me, is that it's going to be done by somebody who can do it, and so that there are no electrical glitches, because that could cause a hazard. So the safety and getting it done right the first time. And
would surpass price, would surpass...
No, I would, yeah. Reputation's a big thing too, because you're going to call somebody and say, well, who's good for this? I don't know that I would shop out price on electrical. I want somebody who's going to do a good job. I'm after the quality, not the price.
I did that too. I'm sorry, with my office, when I was moving my office 2 years ago, and they had to rewire because the facility didn't have enough electric line to run my x-ray machine. So we actually had to run in another line, FPL had to come and do the power line and stuff. So it wasn't about price, it was about safety and that it could function. I mean, if there's not enough power and I go to shoot an x-ray, it's going to blow out the rest of the office, along with all my neighbors. So it's not about price.
Did you think it was about price?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get your money's worth today for this? just that nugget right there?
Definitely something I could ask other people along the way. Or
Yeah, can you go back to your clients and ask them what, and this may just be a casual conversation of, what is it that, working with us does for you, and get into that feeling. See, marketing is about, they buy based on emotion. They don't buy they have the thought, I need the whatever, the widget, but they buy from the heart. And if you tap into what that is, and it's you're selling to a mother, she's got kids at home and she needs to make sure those kids are taken care of. She's got a business and a reputation to maintain, so she can't have that x-ray machine going out with her clients. She may have Tiger Woods there, and how embarrassing would it be if the whole building blew up, the electricity went out because she's got Tiger there.
Well, I've used it.
We're manifesting some good clients for you.
I've used, that we do great work and we're clean and neat, and if there's any problems, we come back and fix them right away. And maybe I shouldn't use that because it's saying we foul up.
No, everybody does.
Quality
I don't,
guarantee.
if people are
Quality
concerned
guarantee.
with making sure it's done right, then wait a minute, what do you mean you fix it and you did it?
That just imparts though, but that imparts to somebody that things are gonna go wrong. And you can, I would keep that message there, but add it on later, like after when you're closing the sale or when you're reselling somebody. But leading with that's kind of like, you know, if you were trying to date or pick up somebody and you're like, you know, I'm a real slob and I never put the lid on the toothpaste, so, you know, I don't really know why you want to hang out with me. You know, that's a tiny, tiny piece of what your company does.
The quality guarantee is a big thing, you know, we talked about that at Glazer Kennedy too. What sort of guarantee are you giving?
Right.
Okay,
How
so
important
that's
that is,
important.
a quality guarantee.
And there can be many different guarantees. That's a whole nother conversation we'll save for later, but play with what matters there. So the message. Does the message hit the market you're trying to talk to? And depending on who you're talking to, it's going to be a different message. And then does that message hit that biggest pain point that somebody has? And does it fulfill a desire that they have? So it's also, do you want to help them, because people are either motivated away from a pain or towards a pleasure. So for you, it's usually if they're hiring you because something has blown up, they have a problem, it's painful, and they're trying to get away from it. Most of your stuff is pain oriented too. They're not coming to you for wellness necessarily, and wellness is a different sell. And sometimes you'll say that's a much harder sell than somebody coming in and saying, oh, I can't move my knee anymore and I've lost mobility. And so you have to come up with, are your people primarily motivated away from something or towards the pleasure or a desire that they have? And you had a question?
No.
Okay.
As a designer, when I look for my subs, an electrician or a plumber, whatever they would be, what's very important to me is that they are, of course, professional and know what they're doing, reliable. Reliability, are they going to show up on that job? And when they're done, are they going to clear that up? Are my clients going to be happy that they're in their home? Very, very important. Extremely important for us, even because you can find a lot of good whatever you're looking for, but the ones that really do that little extra, and you know they don't do it, those are very important, really important for designers at least.
Very cool. All right, last thing here, the media. The media is whether or not you're Facebooking, you're Twittering, you're blogging, you're YouTubing, you're putting an ad in the Yellow Pages, you're putting an ad in the Clipper magazines, you're putting an ad wherever it is. You've got to look at first. Don't just take that ad rep who comes into you and says you got to place an ad in my thing. Say, here are my people. They are 35 to 45 males. They have 2 kids at home. They have leased cars. As detailed as you can get about this market, you have to make sure then that the message you put out there in that media fits. So look at the media part last by being really clear on the market and the message first before you go and choose whether it's Facebooking, blogging, Twittering, etc. Any thoughts on media? Questions?
Could you say that list again about the marketing? You said how many cars they have?
So yeah, so with market we can get to, market can, as detailed as you can get. So this is things like geographic, meaning where they live in this certain zip code. For you, geographic is important because you're servicing Boca Raton, Delray, maybe Palm Beach County. For Richard, you're geographically segregated too. Demographic means things like, are they dual income? Do they own or do they rent? What's their credit score? Things like what's their net worth? These are things that you can buy direct mail lists on that then you can send a postcard or things like that to only the homes that have dual incomes, that own their home, and that have a credit score of 700 or above, and that have a net worth of 150,000. And you may pay more money to like get this list, but don't you think that if you sent these people a message that specifically talked to what it was that the main problem is that they were having, that you might get the phone to ring a little more, or they would be a more qualified prospect for you? You wouldn't have to wade through all the losers, all the looky-lures, all the, okay? So, the other piece here is this, and this is specifically designed as a pyramid for a reason, because I want your top dollar products to be here at the top of the pyramid. And I want something, we're going to talk about this in a second. You need a freebie or a client magnet here at the bottom. And I'm going to move this line down just a little bit. So the things, when I work with, depending on the target market I work with, all of the services and products in your business should serve some sort of funnel process, meaning somebody's going to come in and request some free information from you on, so for instance, the dentist I recently went to. I requested, I don't have a lot of cavities, I just needed a cleaning or something like that, but he gave me a free DVD that told me about how painless and how easy it was to get a filling done, because I'd never had one done, right? So he told me how easy this process was going to be so that I felt at ease with coming to his place. And then that attracted me to working with him because no one else did that process. I actually went to a couple other places and you hear the drill in the background and this woman screaming and you're like, huh, I think I'll be going somewhere else, right? So it allowed you to get a relationship with, he got a relationship with me before it was that he asked me for the money or to work with him. If you're starting your business out, you're not going to have all of these different levels of the pyramid. So for Teresa and for Gina, you create these client magnets and then immediately you go to a high ticket sort of program. You say, okay, now here is the complete package of what it takes to work with me. You guys are in service businesses. And so that gives you the cash flow that you need to then create these other levels when somebody's not ready to go for the big thing. But it's easier to jump through from this to this at the beginning. For you, if you would package your service offerings into packages. So it's not just we're going to come and, what's a normal service you go out and do for people, like on a regular basis?
Hot water heater, very often.
Goes out?
There's a change now that you have to have a switch instead of just plugging it in. So we run into all the time that.
And there's a certain age of a unit that this is going to happen with?
Yeah.
And you're going to need to do a conversion for it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you created a package and marketed to all of the homes that were of that age, probably having this kind of unit, and saying we're going to come in and we're going to do a complete water heater overhaul so that this winter you're not taking a cold shower before work, that would be something that you could tap into. That's away from a pain. You'd want to really make sure you hit what it was that they wanted to avoid. But then that could be a way that you could bring people in that you hadn't thought of before. Yeah? So we're going to talk more about the client magnets in a little bit, but this is a way that we're going to talk, especially in the third segment, about how to automate things. This client magnet is a way that you can start a conversation with people, and every type of marketing you do should be promoting some sort of freebie to people so that you don't have to continually have conversations with people who aren't ready to do business with you. And if you have a sales force, then the salespeople don't get that lead until after somebody's downloaded or gotten the free DVD, they've downloaded the free report, 10 things you need to know about your water heater before you end up with taking a cold shower or something like that. What's the problem that they're having? I know Gina's working on hers. How you create this magnet is easily, what's the problem, the biggest problem that audience is having, and give them the 10 tips for how to fix it. The 10 things they need to know before they hire the next chiropractor, or the 10 things they need to know about lower back pain that's keeping them curled up in a ball and not enjoying their life and not having a good golf game. All right, so profit pyramid here. So the media funnels people into this profit pyramid. Okay, any questions here before we move on to that next segment?
Yeah, I have one.
Sure.
You just said that in a service business, like myself and Gina, I'm not sure about her business, but in mine, we have packages we can put together. As a matter of fact, but you said we wouldn't, but unless I heard that.
You do want a package. Do not, yes?
For instance, on mine, this might give somebody else an idea. I just don't want, it's not just for me to go into a home and redesign their entire home. That doesn't always happen.
Right.
But I could also, which I'm setting up the staging. A lot of people are into that. A lot of people need that today with moving. They want to stage that home so they can sell more readily, and then there's also just consults. And believe it or not, those consults sometimes turn into the entire home being done. I had one like that. That's all she paid me for was 2 hours of consultation. Then she brought me back a couple of months later with another 2 hours of consultation. And then I did her whole entire house.
Right, cool.
Within a year's time.
This is another conversation because we've got bricks and mortar in here with service professionals. So there's a different way that I teach this pyramid as far as if you are a service professional, because you're definitely not wanting to trade time for money. And so we want to position your services in a way that basically sells the transformation that you provide for somebody. So if you so you package something like that so that they're getting X amount of hours and 3 phone calls and a layout or a spread of whatever it is that you're doing that gets them from here to there, and then they can't compare you to somebody who does just come in for 2 hours and talk to them. So it allows you to charge more and help them out further as well. But we can talk about that. As far as a bricks and mortar business go, creating those packages to where you are upselling them, or you have something more than, they're just not coming out for the water heater to be fixed, or they're not just coming out for the AC unit to be repaired, that there are things that you sell to them that take care of all of their needs or more of their needs in the scope of what it is that you do for them. Okay? So we're going to take a quick second. We're going to wrap this segment. I'm going to erase all this and we're going to move on to the next segment. Got it?